Brazil seeks to hold Bolsonaro accountable for more than 400,000 COVID-19 deaths.
Here's a summary of the article.
Bolsonaro never had to go head-to-head with Brazil's most popular politician, former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who was barred from running in 2018 but is once again eligible and is gaining momentum. Congressional leadership allied with Bolsonaro blocked congressional hearings into the government's handling of the pandemic for over a year, ignoring overwhelming evidence of its catastrophic consequences. A detailed study of the government's COVID-19 response by the University of São Paulo and the human rights group Connectors found that the Bolsonaro administration implemented an institutional strategy to propagate the virus, something the authors said was intentional. Last month, over 1,500 business leaders and economists signed an open letter to Bolsonaro imploring him to take effective measures to contain the coronavirus, including social spending, more than a year after the pandemic began. Many of Brazil's most influential captains of industry still see opportunity in the current crisis and are eager to lend Bolsonaro their public support. Last month, top figures from Brazil's banking businesses and an influential industry association applauded Bolsonaro and top officials as they sipped Dom Perignon together at a private dinner. If Brazil's institutions fail to extract any form of accountability from Bolsonaro, it will likely be up to Lula to save the nation from Bolsonaro through the ballot box.
This post received a score of 41,000, with an upvote ratio of 91%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
TFW, you just wanted to be in charge, now all of a sudden you have responsibilities and shit.
I tried Norton and I'm all out of ideas.
If it happened, it was meant to be. Y'all jesting, but he literally used to say things like this all the time last year, when asked about the death toll. Phrases like, so what? I'm not a gravedigger, what can I do? Everyone will die eventually, it's only a mild flu. Brazilians jump into sewage all the time. We'll be fine, and so on.
There's a saying around here that says, everybody knows how a CPI starts, but nobody knows how it ends. Things can escalate quickly, and I hope so. This guy's term must end ASAP. People have been saying that an impeachment is not likely, since his term is already almost over. For those who think so, I must remind you of Dilma Rousseff's impeachment. Dilma's impeachment had a clear strategy behind it, the approval of the PEC that froze public expenses for 20 years, which she wanted to sign only in her last year in office. It's also important to notice that her popularity back there was abysmal. For some reason I'll never understand, Bolsonaro still holds the support of nearly 80 million Brazilians. It's easier for the Congress to use the new CPI to weaken Bolsonaro and force him into complete submission than it is to impeach him and force a state of nearly civil war, while risking giving him more strength towards next year's election.
The president doesn't sign constitutional amendments. It's the Congress, in a joint session, that does.
This idiot is pushing hydroxychloroquine to this fucking day. Not only that, but he's an anti-masker, keeps making public appearances, forming large crowds, and spent a large part of the pandemic undermining the lethality of the virus. So yeah, he contributed directly for things to get this bad. A lot of these deaths are on him.
Makes one wish we could hold Trump accountable for his bullshit lies that he spouted while he was in office as well.
India should follow. There is criminal negligence here. They are playing politics over dead bodies.
Sadly, we, India, are a century behind in holding politicians accountable. The current asshole is gonna get re-elected after all the shit that's happened. Edit, we, India.
I mean, the world has held people accountable for genocide before. We no longer do it, but we have. Don't be apologizing for the world's complacency. What's happening?
Has it? Or were they accountable for losing a war, and when crimes against humanity are included, the winners have a great rationale to use?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.